下り線をまたぐように横滑りし
The movie begins with a group of high school students who have come on a trip to a train station. Their tour guide and conductor is Kazuya Takachi, an energetic man who's extremely passionate about his work. With a bright smile, he explains to the students how the bullet trains work and how the complex engineering keeps these massive machines running at incredible speed. At the end of the tour, a curious student asks, "Sir, why did you choose to be a train conductor instead of a train pilot?" Takachi smiles and replies warmly, "I love helping people and taking care of their needs. I feel happy seeing passengers travel together. That's why I'm so passionate about this job." Soon after, the Hayabusa 60 train arrives on the platform. This was the same train that the students were supposed to board for their educational trip. The kids are overjoyed, excitedly talking and laughing, all except one girl, Yuzuki, who stands quietly, looking distant and uninterested. Meanwhile, in the business class compartment, we see a politician, a YouTuber, and a wealthy businessman all hiding their identities while secretly traveling to Tokyo. The train departs the station, everything running perfectly as usual, but that peace doesn't last long. Suddenly, the control center receives an emergency message. A mysterious caller warns them that bombs have been planted on the Hayabusa 60, Takachi's train. The man claims that if the train's speed drops below 100 kilometers per hour, all the bombs will explode. At first, the threat isn't taken seriously, but within minutes, news breaks. A cargo train has just exploded, exactly the way the man described, when its speed went below the limit. The caller phones again. This time he says, "That was just a demo. Now you know I'm serious." The entire control center goes into shock. The threat is real. Soon the terrorist's demand is revealed. He wants 100 billion yen transferred into his account. Only then will he defuse the bombs. But the Japanese government refuses instantly. Their policy is strict. They never negotiate with terrorists. As the news spreads across the country, panic grips the nation. Thousands of families are terrified for their loved ones trapped inside the speeding train. Inside the train, tension rises. People are crying, panicking, and completely losing control. In the midst of chaos, the YouTuber inside the train decides to act. He uses his online platform to start a donation campaign, urging people across Japan to donate money so they can meet the terrorists' demand, since the government won't. To everyone's surprise, donations start flooding in. The YouTuber keeps posting live updates, screenshots, and account balances as millions of yen pour in from citizens desperate to save those on board. Inside the train, passengers begin suspecting each other. They believe one of the bombers might actually be among them. Their suspicion falls on a man wearing a mask, calmly eating his lunch while everyone else is panicking. Soon, his story unfolds. His name is Godo. He once owned an aircraft repair company, but due to one mechanic's carelessness, a helicopter they repaired malfunctioned midair and crashed, killing many students. Godo's company was ruined. People blamed him, hated him, and his life became a nightmare. Now, when passengers recognize him, they lash out in anger. Already broken inside, Godo sinks deeper into depression. But a female politician sitting next to him, who herself was surrounded by scandals, comforts him and says, "People eventually forget scandals. You just have to survive." Amid this growing fear, a shocking truth is revealed. The quiet student Yuzuki, who seemed odd from the start, she's the one who planted the bombs. Yes, this young schoolgirl planned the entire operation by herself, and all of it was for revenge against her father. Her father, a retired police officer, was an abusive man, harsh, cruel, and violent. He constantly insulted her, beat her, and mocked her for being a girl. After her mother's death, Yuzuki was left completely alone. She despised her father's fake heroism, the stories he told everyone about how brave he once was. She knew they were all lies. In 1975, there had been a similar bullet train bombing. Many people were killed. The real bomber blew himself up when police reached his house. But the government, embarrassed by their failure, spread fake news, claiming that Yuzuki's father was the one who killed the bomber. They turned him into a national hero. Since then, he was celebrated everywhere as a brave man. But Yuzuki knew the truth, and she wanted the world to see the real monster behind the hero's mask. To take revenge, she found and teamed up with the son of the original 1975 bomber. That man too wanted revenge on the government for his father's death. Together, they built and planted the bombs in the trains. Inside the train, Yuzuki finally confesses everything. She says, "I'll give you all a choice. Any one of you can kill me right now. The bombs are linked to the pacemaker in my heart. The moment I die, they'll automatically defuse." Everyone is speechless. Takachi steps forward, slowly walking toward her. But instead of killing her, he opens his arms and hugs her tightly as tears fill his eyes. Meanwhile, the rescue operation begins. Authorities decide to move all passengers from bomb-free compartments into safe ones. Once the transfer is complete, those safe compartments are detached from the moving train, but many are still trapped, their lives hanging by a thread. In the control room, a man named Kasagi comes up with a daring plan. He decides to run a parallel train moving right beside Hayabusa 60 so that passengers can be transferred between trains mid-motion. Another train, the Hayabusa 63, races alongside it. Both trains match speed perfectly. Engineers connect them with a temporary bridge, and terrified passengers carefully cross over one by one, trembling with fear but desperate to survive. However, 9 passengers still remain stuck inside. The train is now speeding toward Tokyo, but the Tokyo station is closed due to construction. They can't slow down or the bombs will explode. They can't stop at Tokyo or thousands more will die. And to make matters worse, another train is approaching head-on. Kasagi realizes both trains are now in danger. Just seconds before collision, he manages to switch the junction, sending the other train to a different track, narrowly avoiding disaster. But those 9 passengers still remain inside Hayabusa 60. Kasagi acts fast. He detaches the section suspected to have bombs, and after a few moments, he separates the passenger compartment too, switching the track at the perfect moment. The engine continues on a different line, while the passenger compartment slows down on the original track until it comes to a full stop. Rescue teams rush in, and everyone in that compartment is saved. Meanwhile, the other empty section, still moving at high speed, is slowed down remotely by the control room, and then it explodes violently. The blast is massive, but since the compartment was empty, no lives are lost. Moments later, the police arrive to arrest Yuzuki. They ask her, "Do you feel guilty? Do you want to say anything in your defense?" Yuzuki remains silent. With trembling hands, she quietly extends her wrists to be handcuffed. Takachi's assistant conductor, who was injured during the chaos, is taken to the hospital. As for Takachi and the YouTuber, they are hailed as heroes. Their courage and leadership saved hundreds of lives. In the end, everyone on the train survives, and the movie closes on a hopeful note, the moment when courage, humanity, and compassion rise even in the face of terror. The movie ends here. Yo, if you're still watching, you're an absolute legend. Don't forget to hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on the bell, because the next movie recap is going to blow your mind.